While they made their way to the woods, he realized something was wrong. His dog was missing. He searched the entire area, but there was no trace of this animal. Where had the pup gone? Had he run into trouble? The man panicked. One man, Ralph Dawn, lived a peaceful and simple life. He didn't have a lot of friends, and his routine was mostly the same. He went to work and got back in the evening, after which he took a stroll. So, this man soon began to feel like he needed some kind of excitement in his life. Then he decided to open a Facebook page. This decision soon made him realize what he had been missing all along. Once Ralph got back from work, he would make dinner, then sit in his favorite spot and just scroll through his Facebook feed. At first, I wasn't sure what to post. Who would care about what a 50-year-old man had to say? I didn't even add a profile picture, but I enjoyed reading through the feed, Ralph explained. Then, one day, he got a text from a Filipino woman. "I know you are a handsome man. Where is your picture?" she wrote, and added a laughing emoji. Although I didn't text back and she never texted again, her texts made me more comfortable, and a few weeks later I added my picture. Later that week, Ralph also made his first post, and he got some likes and comments. For the next few days, Ralph became more active on Facebook, and one day he stumbled on a group where people just shared pictures and posts about their pets. Of all these people, Ralph found one teenager's post very fascinating, and this young man soon made Ralph do something gutsy. This teenager would always post about his dog, Cherry. They did everything together, Ralph explained. Soon, Ralph got very fond of this teenager and his dog, so he would always look forward to their posts. One morning, Ralph woke up feeling unusually down. He heard his phone buzzing with a lot of notifications, but he didn't check. It was as if something was troubling him, but he didn't even know what it was. When it was almost noontime, Ralph finally picked up his phone. This man hadn't cried in years, but what he was about to see would make him shed tears like a child who had lost their way. When he opened Facebook, he realized the notifications were from the animal group, and there were several comments. As he glanced through them, his eyes caught the word Cherry. Why did all the comments have the word Cherry? Ralph panicked. He quickly rushed to the group, and after scrolling through a few posts, he found one with over 1,000 comments. It was a post from the teenager. The boy's eyes were red, like he had cried the whole night. But one thing was also unusual. The boy was the only one in the picture. He never took a picture without his dog. Ralph was so carried away by the teenager's rare picture that he didn't even notice the caption. It was only a few seconds later that he finally looked up and saw it, boldly written with a lot of heartbreak emojis were the words, "I lost her. Cherry died. She fell sick and we did all we could to save her, but I guess she got tired of my food and my face, so she thought it was best to leave." Once Ralph was done reading, his phone slipped off his hands and he almost suffered a panic attack. He couldn't dare to imagine how much pain the guy was going through. We all saw how much he loved his dog. I felt very sorry for him. I went into my room and cried my eyes out, Ralph continued. For the next few weeks, no one heard from the boy. He didn't make a post. So one day, Ralph messaged him on Facebook. He wrote, "I am sorry about Cherry. You really inspired me. I'm going to get a dog too. Perhaps he will make me happy, just like your Cherry." The teenager read Ralph's message, but he didn't respond. Regardless, Ralph was happy the boy had seen his texts. A few months later, Ralph finally adopted a dog and named him Harley. The moment Harley stepped into the house, Ralph knew his life would change forever. And one day, this dog proved to be a sweet soul. He did something that made Ralph very astounded. For years, this duo lived as best friends, and their love grew every passing day. Everything was going fine between Ralph and his animal friend until one day when Ralph got the scare of his life. It was so serious that he almost went nuts. That morning, Ralph woke up a bit early and was having body aches, so he decided to take a stroll. There was a lake close to his home that Ralph often visited with Harley, so he went there. However, when Ralph got there that morning, he spotted a strange animal from afar. The animal was standing on the other side of the river. Was it a baby deer or chevrotain? A confused Ralph wondered. Anyway, he called the appropriate authorities and informed them that there was a lost animal in the neighborhood that needed to be rescued. Just then, Harley crossed Ralph's mind, and that was when he realized he hadn't seen the dog that morning. The events of the previous night then slowly filled Ralph's mind. He remembered he had been so tired the previous night. He had taken his dinner in the bedroom, locked the door, and took a nap, hoping he would let Harley in later. But he didn't wake up until this morning. So, where did the dog sleep the whole night? Why wasn't he even sitting in the sitting room or the balcony? Ralph thought as he ran back home as fast as he could carry him. When he got home, the front door was wide open. When he saw this, fear gripped him, and he almost collapsed. Had he forgotten to close the door when he went out for a stroll? No, he quickly dismissed the thought. Someone must have been in the house, he guessed. "Harley!" Ralph screamed so badly, disturbing the peace of his neighborhood, but there was no response. He ran to the kitchen. He checked the toilet, the store, and even under the bed. He flung the wardrobe open and even checked beneath the chair, but there was no sign of Harley. She was gone without a trace. That moment was when I realized how much she meant to me. It was only when I tasted something salty that I realized I had been crying, Ralph said. In this moment of trouble, Ralph remembered the teenager's dog and was scared he had lost Harley too. Not relenting, the man dashed outside the house and he checked the whole surroundings. Still no Harley. All of a sudden, an idea struck Ralph. There was one place he hadn't checked: the lake. So he rushed down to the river as memories of the beautiful times he had with this dog filled his mind. Once there, Ralph spotted something that made him flinch. Right inside the water was Harley. Even though the dog was a good swimmer, Ralph feared that he was drowning, so he quickly unbuckled his sandals, ready to dive in, but that was when his eyes caught something amusing. Looking up, Ralph saw the strange animal he had seen earlier. This time around, he was sure it was a deer, but something very heartwarming was happening inside the lake. Right beside the deer was Harley, herding the tiny creature back to the shore. Apparently, he had gone in to save the baby deer. I'm not sure how the deer got inside the water, but Harley didn't care. He just jumped into action. I was just so happy to see her saving the poor animal. After Harley had brought the deer to safety, he licked the fawn's body to show love. Then he ran towards Ralph and wagged his tail happily. It was as if he was saying, "Did you see what I did? You are proud of me, right?" How sweet. Soon, the rescuers arrived, and Ralph told them there was no cause for alarm. Then he went back home happily with his four-legged friend. The duo bid the deer goodbye, thinking they would never see him again. But a few days later, they got an unexpected visitor. 3 days later, Harley got restless and was running from window to window. It was as if he had seen something, so he desperately wanted to go out. Then Ralph opened the door and Harley ran into a nearby tree line. Ralph quickly wore his sandals and ran after the dog. When he got there, he was surprised to see Ralph wasn't alone. The deer from the previous day was there too. He had come to say hello to his little savior. Ralph watched the two animals touch noses and sniff each other. When Harley was satisfied, he walked back home calmly with his human friend. What an incredible and caring dog. All thanks to his fantastic owner. I hope these two create more beautiful and lasting memories.